disponible
The
la balanza de
film
recursos.
begins with the sound of a radio, reporting on the extreme crisis in the there's no clear context recording Spain yet. This crisis is definitely policy. The government has created a desert atmosphere. Most of the people are Spanish, try to escape, and here it is. We are introduced a couple of lovers. Name is Enchio and Mia. Like most their people use the service of against illegal immigrants to leave the country. This smuggling was going on for a long time because the policy immediately came to intercept activity. Luckily, Nick and Mia made it. Reached and safe point before the police found they were now using drugs. Their containers were parked towards port in this moment we get. Additional clues from the news that is playing. It turns out of that year Europe is experiencing a crisis. Water and food respond to this government. Spine Institute, a policy of sacrifice with groups such as the elderly killed. This is useful for the group. Productive can still survive after the government is now also targeting the elderly, children, and pregnant women is essential. The weak should be prepared, sacrificed during the crisis. Tex Blasmia is actually skeptical about it. This escape plan may remember the whole this box has been guarded by Ray Kim. Dictator, in this movie timeline, Spain has been led by the authoritarian. Of course, he doesn't want to let go of his wife, who being heavily pregnant. She continued to reassure him once they made it across to the Ireland they will be free, because Ireland strongly opposed the policy. However, the atmosphere suddenly changed because the truck suddenly stopped apparently against rise in other paths of immigrants. The unstoppable force makes Nick. Rebellions that occurred throughout the way through the phone calls was Nick. Reminds me of one crucial thing. X not to trust anyone in this situation. After several hours of truck running, came back to a stop and it turned out the officer had patrol at the port entrance, breaking the silence against atmosphere. There's no one in there, apart from the officer's wooden packaging. It seems got full her because they all has built up on the inside side. Containers for these passengers really atmosphere tense.
Dale!
Unfortunately, the officer also measured the length container for outside here it is, knowing he asked for them all to get out on good terms because they have been deceived by immigrant against it was dark, so they were all give up without a fight. This persuasion succeeds in making one of them open the door, but that at this moment, Mia was already there, on wooden packaging. Whatever instinct, he managed to touch the suit.
Escóndete, los ha matado a todos.
Killed everyone there temporarily. Mia remained up there without slightly suspicious. A few moments after that, the container finally transferred to the Mia's ship. Tried to contact Nick, but he didn't reach. So far, Nick has not answered. The message is fortunately the container has been being on the ship. The hardest thing has been done. Now he just has to wait news of her husband and made it airline, but expectation often betraying extreme heavy rain at night. It made the ship shake violently. Finally, when came to sense the noodle's head floating in the ocean of his cell phone, even now it doesn't work anymore. Imagine trapped inside a locked container without a phone's ratings. Mia is now walking, turning around the container one by one. He opened the wound packaging and found Tupperware in the first packaging, then put the clothes in the packaging. Second followed by LED TV and the lastly the headset that you often use see on the credit kiosk. The gun where this whole was makes water flood the container, but just calmed down for a while. Mia immediately heard a great scream from the container next to it, is where we knew it is a container that Nico intends crashed drastically. With so hysterical, Mia watching all this without being able to do anything. Whatever until the evening, Mia continues trying to contact Nick 100 calls but without a single answer. Of course, Mia can accept all this. Finally, decide to take it. The young pet of the knife is now in the hands. And which, yes, the baby start kicking again. As if against this as if providing a morning spark of new hope. The brink one gives new energy. For him and Mia now it seems like they can accept the situation, at least more better than the day. But she just realized Tepper has rubber on the part. This cover can be used for plugging the bolt, hold the place where the bolt entered. Tepper water can also be used for discard the water that has filled container, resulting in the water in the container. Successfully remove significant to resort his confidence. Mia hangs several family photos. He also started organizing each the item she found, started from electric bar to plastic drinks bottles, much and some canned food, and coincided with this moment a suddenly call.
Mi amor, sí, por fin. El conductor nos engañó, nos dejó tirados a las afueras de la ciudad. Tranquila, estoy yendo a buscarte.
No, espera, Nico, escúchame.
And yes, Nico is still alive. I can imagine how happy Mia was to hear the voice. This turns out to be the truck we saw before. It wasn't a container Nico. A moment after the call ended, Mia suddenly this contraction is really bad timing, even if nature is like not on his side all my day. Mia endures this pain, but to stay enduring complaining is not an option. And in the middle of the thunderstorm, Mia tried to give birth alone, and what happened? Yes, Mia successfully gave birth to her baby, but baby didn't cry at first. With a little help, who would have thought a baby it can be saved, which means Mia can no longer alone inside. In the next day, it was already 3 days Mia surviving in the container to throw with her now. Is no longer the main activity. As of now, Noodles should always be near the baby. But what she just realized was that the Noodles weren't accidentally dropped his cell phone when she was having contractions. Without the cell phone, mean she can no longer connect with Nico. In the midst of this frustration, she's realized has a drill that can take it out of tree without thinking. Also the cutting length of the container. However the sounds the drills make the baby is scared, Mia tries calming, but no successful. Psyche turned. Luckily, she immediately aware of his actions. Long story short, arrived the next day, Mia returned to continue trailing. However, it turned out the battery from the trail was dead. Early, however, Mia must hurry get out of there whatever it takes. because she had run out of water and food supplies. While thinking, Mia realized again that the knife has a saw blade, but the question is whatever. The saw can that small cut the thickness of iron containers have a baby, of course, very burdensome at this moment, but don't forget the baby is the reason why Mia is still alive here. Survive so far. This is a short story until the night. The next day, I woke up with the stomach's edge. Empty, we know she is no longer there. Have food stocks at this moment. However, who would have thought Mia decided to eating his placenta? This is meat itself is used meat. Mia was scared when she was born here because she heard a mysterious voice, which is the sound of the blue whale. Basically, blue whales don't dangerous for humans. That is the storyline of the film entitled Nowhere. It's not over yet. There will be a next part, but we'll end it here for now. Thank you for sticking around until here. I'm Naufal Edra. Goodbye.
'Cause every night I'm talking to the moon.